Our speaker this morning is Mr. Yinger. Mr. Yinger graduated from the Hill in 1995 and currently serves as High Meadows Chair of Sustainability, Senior Master Teacher, and Chair of the Science Department, and the Richardson Coach of varsity track and field. He's also in the dorm head in Dutch Village, where he lives with his wife and 2 sons. Mr. Yinger.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Read an interview with John Mellencamp a bit ago, where he was asked about his life and what he thought that he had accomplished. I recognize that only a few of you older people in the room like me might even know who that is. But trust me when I say he's a pretty famous rock star from the 80s and 90s who writes what I guess I could only term as Americana songs, his most famous probably being Jack and Diane. Check it out if you're interested. Anyway, while pondering his life and what might be left of it, I believe he was 70 at the time of the interview, he simply said, "What if I only have 10 summers left? What if it's only 5? I'm not sure that's enough summers." This held some serious weight for me as a teacher, coach, dorm parent, father, and husband. Most of all, as a person whose year basically turns over by the summer, it gave me serious pause. And since that day, I found myself more consistently thinking about the concept of time. Not necessarily in the sense of how much do I have left, though with the recent loss of the matriarch of our family, and the aging of my own parents and in-laws, and the growing of my own children, I found myself considering that concept as well, obviously. Rather, I've started to consider the meaning of my own life, as it has turned out thus far, and wondering on the time that I have spent in various pursuits. I guess what I want to make sure of at this point is that in the 25th year of teaching, coaching, and running dorms, the 3 most time-consuming experiences of my professional life, I just hope this hasn't been a big waste of time. I mean, what's the actual point of all of this? And what have I actually accomplished? Am I even on the right road? Now I know what some of you might say, the obvious reason he does what he does. Got into teaching for the money. Maybe he got into it for all those summers off that people like to talk about and Mellencamp mentioned. And then in the midst of all my thinking and wondering and assessing, the entirety of my entire life came into view over last Thanksgiving break. That's called Epiphany. And I fell asleep and I slept a dreamless night of pure bliss. Not really, that sounded good. Okay, here goes, buckle up. The concept of legacy is a complex one. The Oxford English Dictionary offers us 3 common options to choose from about the word legacy. The first from the U.S. college slang, and applicants to a club, university, or etc. regarded preferentially because a parent or other relative belonged or belongs to that institution. This definition has received quite a bit of press lately and may cause even some people in this room consternation as they navigate the complexities of the college process. I myself am hopeful that the Hill School Admissions Office may look favorably upon my personal offspring in April by acutely applying such definition despite his many faults, many of which he shares with yours truly. Or perhaps we could go to definition number 2. Perhaps that will work. A sum of money or a specified article given to another by will or by bequest. This definition also holds weight for me. I hope that one day my children and maybe my grandchildren will know me through such concepts. Though I plan on spending cash money recklessly throughout my retirement, on travel with my wife and fine whiskey with my friends, so someone may want to let me buy Henry know that they should count on nothing greater than Hill gift certificates all around. Yes, I mean buried with the guitars and all good books. Finally, though, we get to my point in the 1579 definition of the word legacy, where it offers the following. In extended use, a tangible or intangible thing handed down by a predecessor, a long-lasting effect of an event or a process. There it is. And what on earth does that mean? And why might I actually earn a good night's
tangible or intangible thing handed down by a predecessor. And that's the moment where I come into picture, and it's also the moment for some reflection on those accomplishments that I was looking for. You see, in order to define myself and what I do as a teacher, coach, and dorm parent, I need to define what my predecessors did before me, first and eventually then handed down to me. And who are those people that came before me, doing what I currently do, and what role did they play in making me who I am today as a teacher, coach, and dorm parent? What legacy of teaching do I come from that now exists within me? In terms of knowing people, I think immediately some names: Jim Reissider, John Benzinger, Dick O'Shaughnessy, Jim Long, and Rick Walton, just to name a few. But there are some issues with those names for me as I say them today to you. With well over 170 years of working at the school that we currently are attending, many, most of you, have no idea who those people even are. And why would you? They've been gone quite a while. Institutional memory, last I checked, is probably somewhere between 2 and 3 years, meaning that if someone were to leave till today as a teacher, within 2 to 3 years, the majority of people sitting in the room might no longer know them in a personal manner. So did they lead a life of wasted time because they are not currently known? Did those men live a meaningless life because in this room or in rooms on our campus, rooms they walked for over 30 years, they lay mostly forgotten to most people there? Absolutely not. And here's why. Those men are wholly known to you, tangentially through time, because you have the absolute pleasure of knowing me. And because you know Mr. and Mrs. Nelson. And because you've been taught by Dr. Malone and Mrs. Neese, or coached by Miss Mesa or Mr. LeGore, or admitted to school by Mr. Eccleston or Mr. Bottle. Each of those people who you should know contain some portion of those great people because they're steeped in the legacy and in the attributes through that legacy, the type of which only might exist in places such as this. Let me explain to you that very quickly. Each of us has some part of the passion of Jim Reissider, who was my first teacher on my very first period ever at the Hill School. He brought me under his fold and demanded great things of me from day one when I was very little more than a scared and lost repeat board former. He was a mentor I didn't know I needed when I was a young teacher back at Hill, and I'm indebted to him. And each of us might have a bit of patience and faith with John Benzinger, who is a barometer of what is right for all of us, and a truly superior teacher. And I learned what it meant to be dedicated to a thing without fail, even in the face of the death of a wife and a son. And though I've not contested that level, and I pray that I'm not, I know it's possible to get through things like that at a place such as this. And I could go on about the people I mentioned and talk about the seriousness of purpose and the drive of Dick O'Shaughnessy, or the Terry Hall master that was Jim Long, or the deep level of academic expertise that was Rick Walbridge. And don't be fooled. Each of those people was every bit a human being. They had flaws, some pretty serious. And I do not believe that those flaws disqualify them from the greatness of their legacies, from our legacies as we sit here today. Rather, for me, it further cements them as worthy of emulation because they remain great in my mind despite the knowledge of those facts. So why am I telling you this? And why these facts bring me comfort? And it's so simple, really, you almost can't see it. The answer to it is right in front of me every day, in the classroom, on the track, in the dorms. It's here in this room. It's you. My time is made valid and worthwhile because I have all of you. I know it's kind of scary, right? I know there's worth in my time spent each day because I've been given the awesome responsibility of caring for, teaching, coaching you. And our relationship together allows me to further pass down those legacies of the past from this school as I've now made them my own, so that now you may continue to make them your own. And in our time together, I believe I've done nothing more than demand of you what I've already learned to demand of myself from those people of the past. So that when you leave here someday, I can only hope that some small part of me has therefore rubbed off from those great people of the past onto you, and they will take those things out into the world and continue those legacies excellence in some form, and that you will try to positively affect those people around you. And you will allow yourself to love another person deeply, and just in case you believe that as someone English teacher from a somewhat obscure boarding school in a small town in Pennsylvania, you can't do that in any large way, here goes. This is your part. Get ready. Please stand if any of the following applies to you, and stand until the end. If you have lived in Dutch Village in the past 4 years at any time, please stand. If you've been taught by me in a classroom at any time in the last 4 years, please stand. If you've been a part of the indoor or outdoor track teams in the past 4 years, please stand. If you're a teacher in the science department, please stand. If you have had dinner in my home or I've had dinner in your home, please stand. If in walking past each other, we've ever shared a smile and a genuine how are you doing and you reciprocate, please stand. There it is. Look around you. Whether you're sitting or standing, this is why I know now in this moment that I have not wasted a single day in 25 years. You and I, all my students, my athletes, and my dorm residents, from this day to 25 years ago, share a common legacy. And I thank you for blessing me with that opportunity. Finally, I hope that by the end of this school year, any of you may remain sitting, that we are able to revisit this talk someday later as our future selves, and that many, if not all of you, would be standing as well. In parting today, please know I would like that very much. Please stand if you are still seated. Let us pray. Dear Lord, please allow me to be strong enough to carry on the legacies in my life through tough times and easy times alike. Allow me to challenge others to be good people and to be good to each other. Allow me to sow love when and where so many people know hate. And finally, allow me to create my own legacy from this day forth in the likeness of your own true teachings. Amen.